This video is sponsored by... the sponsor emailed me back and said that their offer was sent to me in error. Apparently they were trying to reach someone else. Okay, we're still doing this. The footage has already been shot. I have here another point-and-shoot film camera. A Canon SureShot 105 zoom, along with the relatively new Fujifilm 400. Our test shoot took place Friday the 15th of September. The leaves on some trees have already started turning, but more likely than not for stress due to summer drought, rather than fall beginning early. The new Fujifilm 400 is actually made by Kodak. This was yet again another $7.99 purchase from Goodwill. Now I have no other history with this camera otherwise. I didn't exactly have a well thought out plan for what to photograph, other than the things you might see around the area when traveling from Port Orchard to Bremerton via public transit, and various subjects to test this Canon SureShot 105 zoom and this new Fujifilm 400 color negative film with. Right off the bat, with those shots of landscaping and the boardwalk, I could see that this film produces some rather saturated and contrasty images. One of the problems with the point and shoot here, zooming in, is we're at f9.9.
Alternatives, just colors. It's on your list.
Crazy, I was zoomed all the way into 105 on this thing. Even in the middle of the day, tries to fire the flash on auto. If you shot a roll of film and take a while to get it developed, it can feel like opening a time capsule, even if it's less than a few months.
This all set?
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
I did take the MV Waterman from Port Orchard to Bremerton, and I took photos of various subjects on the water as the sun set along the way. With light levels falling, the shadows started shifting to a purplish hue. I also visited the little bar on the boardwalk now known as the Shack. I used to go there a lot. It's a cozy little place with a small selection of food and beverages. I didn't order any alcohol during the most recent visit, but I did get some interesting night photos. There's the big lighted sign from Anthony's. I just wish that the Shack also had a big neon sign. Well, I did ask about it and was told that the building had limited power available, so they really couldn't do it. I finished off the night with a few pictures back in Port Orchard, including the path to the foot ferry docking area. Outside by a grassy field with trees and a sidewalk. And dumpsters. Not on fire, obviously enough. Right by the entrance to the marina. Let's look back at the film. It turns out with a consumer grade film like this, the auto levels and view scan does a good enough job at making it look right. In fact, I tried to process this through raw therapy film negative tools, but I ended up with overly contrasty and oversaturated images. Even with the reference exponent turned down. Back in the day, though, June 1997 more specifically, this thing cost 34,000 yen and is described as top of the line in the series. This was also known as the Autobuy Luna 105 in Japan and the Primus Super 105 date in Europe. This camera has a 38 to 105 millimeter f 3.8 to 9.9, going down a minimum aperture of f15 to 32, along with the standard array of features you'll find on an automatic, including motorized operation, a self-timer, flash on off, auto selection. Yeah, this one also has a date back, which defaults to the year 1994 and goes all the way up to the year 19. Yes, this camera's already outlived its usefulness as of now. In the late 1990s, digicams were in their infancy and most didn't even have a mere fraction of the resolution we take for granted on even the cheapest smartphones today. If you wanted to capture snapshots during a family vacation, for example, film would still be the best option until at least the early to mid-2000s. In the absence of family vacations, considering not many of us can afford families or vacations anymore, this camera works well enough for a bit of street-type photography. Something great for capturing moments as they happen without getting fixated on technical details. Now for the technical details. Exposure is programmed auto and the camera relies on DX code. It will default to ISO 25 in the absence of DX code. There's no EV comp override. No going -1 or +1 or whatever. And the camera's rated for ISOs as low as 25 and as high as 3200. One of the things I've learned to look out for are the max shutter speeds on these types of cameras. For example, the Minolta Freedom 70 zoom the Minolta Freedom Zoom 70 I looked at previously maxed out at 1/200th of a second. This Canon SureShot 105 maxes out at 1/550th at the wide end, 1/450th at the tele end. Looking back at the scans, I see less of the effects of camera shake than on the Minolta Freedom Zoom 70. And that's true even when zoomed in. You'll see examples soon. It also produced sharper looking images overall. And as for the film stock of choice, I decided on Fujifilm 400, or what they replaced Superior Extra 400 with, at least in the United States. It's a repackaged Kodak Ultramax 400, and at a price of $24.97 per 3-pack at the Walmart in town, this is the cheapest color film I could find in any store in town, last I checked. You want it cheaper? You're gonna have to go online and probably get it shipped from China. At any rate, it's still pricey compared to the 2000s and even the 2010s. I remember 5-packs of film that cost me less. I also remember when 1 hour of photo processing was a thing. You go to like a Walmart or a Walgreens or maybe even a CVS or another place and have prints and negatives back in an hour. I remember messing around with a roll of Fujifilm back in 2012. I got that processed at a Walgreens. Nowadays, it seems that no store even returns your negatives anymore. You go to a Walgreens or a Walmart, and what they'll do is mail it off to a photo lab that will shred your negatives and send you back a CD. You're better off mailing it to a place like thedarkroom.com, for example, or processing and scanning them yourself. For most of us, film is already long dead. It has been superseded by digital cameras, just as vinyl LPs have been superseded by CDs. However, there is a resurgence of interest in both. Now, in terms of developing, scanning, I do that myself. Shouldn't be too difficult considering I nearly flunked chemistry in high school. I never took any chemistry in college. And all the photos you've been seeing, did that myself. Results speak for themselves. You do see specks of lint and dirt and water spots, but yeah. I should remember to get another film squeegee. I had one before, but it wore out and started scratching my film, so I stopped using it. Anyways. To process this stuff, you'll use the same Patterson reels and tank you use for black and white processing. But this time, you'll need to warm the developer to around 39 degrees Celsius for best results. I find it best to use a sous vide pod to get it up to temperature. After that, it's several minutes of maybe agitating every half minute or a minute. Then 8 minutes of the bleach and fix. You're going to be doing the same thing, agitating it, flipping it up and down. I went back to the marina in Port Orchard again. It's a decent enough place to test out film cameras with, and it's a short drive from home. If you're just visiting the area, there is free 4-hour public parking here and a few different restaurants where you can get food and drinks. In terms of photography, we've got various buildings along with a variety of trees, shrubbery, smaller plants, as well as crows, seagulls, boats, cars, different types of lights for at night, and a few people around. There's a passenger-only ferry to Bremerton from here, run by the same municipal agency that runs the local bus routes. They used to have the century-old Carlisle 2 on the regular Port Orchard Bremerton runs, but nowadays it spends most of its time at the dock. The newly built as of 2019 hybrid electric MV Waterman has taken its place. Back when the Carlisle was active, and back when I was working at the local community college, I'd stop into my favorite bar on the way back to Port Orchard. At first because it's almost right next to the ferry dock, but it's a nice and cozy little bar, albeit on the expensive side. It's only open Thursdays through Sundays in the post-COVID era, and it has changed names and ownership at least a couple of times since I first visited back in 2018. It used to be open nearly every day, too. First it was known as the Minette Yacht Club Bar, then the Outpost, or Valhalla Outpost. Now, it's the Shack on the boardwalk.